Yes, quite good. But the implication, we've started seeing the implication. And the first thing we've seen is the rising exchange rate in the black market is now between 166 and, if I'm right, 172. This definitely, Nigeria economy is more of an informal sector. People play more in the black market in buying their dollar or for importing. So definitely what CBN has always been trying to manage, that is stabilize the exchange rate, stabilize inflation, is who indirectly creeping. So something has to be done when this kind of policy is being introduced.
All right, of course, we are all privy to the PHCN privatization that was embarked upon by the federal government. I'm just going to find out from you your thoughts about that. But first, we'll take this break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the show. It's still question time on Channels Television. Please stay with us.
Every day as they happen, opinions arise.
I lost money in Africa. Sanusi said he couldn't care about the shareholder.
For and against, they have to be heard.
The government of this dispensation has made a very strong commitment. Yet, bomb keeps going on. Every day people are dying and we are talking grammar.
Unfiltered.
We are the worst advertisement of the product we are trying to pick.
Uninhibited.
People are contravening and contradicting traffic rules.
And issues are laid bare.
This is what is called in psychology narcissism. Is worse than megalomania.
And the weight decided by you. Face Off, Wednesdays 8 to 9 p.m. only on Channels Television.
You're welcome back. You're still watching Question Time on the Channels Television. Mr. Remi Bello, the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, is our guest this week. And quite a lot has already been said. But before we went on the break, I was asking you about the PHCN privatization. Now, we all witnessed the giant strides that were made in the telecommunications sector some few years ago. And the federal government has said that will also be replicated, as regards power. Any hope for Nigerians? Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel, despite the skepticisms?
Yeah, thank you very much. The power sector reform, to me, I believe that's the way to go. We've experienced it in telecommunication, and we are even at an advantage on this occasion. When we started the telecommunication, it's like we started from ground zero. How many people were having a telephone then? Both the landline and the mobile, the 090 of those days. How many were there? So I can see it's like we started from ground zero. But for the power sector, I want to see we are not starting from ground zero. In the sense that presently we generate electricity, whether by PHCN, whether by your generator. What matters is that we are generating electricity. But at what price? At what cost? That's the question we should ask. We do it inefficiently. So we've got something to compare with. Let's assume, for example, like I as a manufacturer now, I know how much I spend in a month for my energy use. If I'm spending 500,000 a month, including payment to public supply, including my generating electricity, it's 500,000 naira per month. I've got a base rate, which I will want to compare by the time these new investors are now giving me electricity. Add to my cost of, because no law will say I shouldn't run my generator. I don't think any law will forbid me from running my generator. If we are supplying me electricity, I had the cost to the cost of running my generator, as long as it's lower to the 500,000 I was spending before. So I'm better off. So that's what I mean, that we have something to compare with, which simply means we are going to an era of reduced cost from the onset. And as we go into it, you will recall when we started the telecommunication, it wasn't the one we started having per second billing. It was so expensive even having the handset in those days. It's everybody that is having a handset now. That is what is going to eventually happen in the power sector too. by the time, there is what is called learning concepts. At the onset, there may be these challenges, teething problems. Like in the last 2 months, the power supply has been very erratic, very bad. Yes, it's understood. When you are taking over, when you are transiting from one stage to another, definitely you will have these challenges. What I would just want to advise is that let's exercise on patience. I foresee a better future in power reform. It's the way to go. There is no other way to go about it. We've always been clamoring for privatization. If we get to this stage, all we need is small patience. We will get there. I believe it's the way to go.
Now, what's your view on the privatization of refineries as well? Do you think that's a good sign as well?
I want to believe so. It's nothing different from what we've been talking about. It's about privatization. It's privatization. If we believe in privatization, you see, government has no business in business. Government is to provide the enabling environment. Running the refineries, what have we been getting out of it for these years? Nothing. We continue, despite the refineries being there, we continue importing, and our money continues going down the drain. Why, for God's sake, why don't we release these refineries to private sector? The money we've been putting into it can be put into other public needs. My view is that is the way to go, like the power sector. The only thing is that it has to be transparent when it's been done. Transparency matters. The staff, the employees have to be carried along, and it should be devoid of all these shady deals. If it is done the way it should be done, we are going to be better off at the end of the day.
Now, looking at the challenges, confronting the oil and gas sector, I mean, a whole lot of solutions, have been brought to the front burner over the years, and how we can, perhaps tackle some of these problems. But from your vantage point, where do you really think we should start from? Addressing this cankerworm, especially the issue of the PIB, which has not yet been passed.
Yes, oil and gas. The key challenges I see there, uncertainty in policy, like the PIB.
Yes, that's another guess. In fact, that is the main.
By now, one would have expected the PIB to have been passed, and if this is put in place, oil and gas is a very huge investment efforts. It requires huge investment. You need to be sure of what is going to happen. In the situation you are not sure whether the PIB is going to be passed, and even is going to be passed, in what form, is it the form it is presently, which we are seeing is not going to encourage investment. That's one of the challenges. In the area of government neglect of the host communities, which has always led to hostilities in the area, such that the companies, the investors find it difficult operating. That is a challenge facing the oil and gas. And if you see what is happening with regards to vandalization, oil theft, that's another challenge. The challenges are numerous. These are a few of them.
Now, the rate of unemployment keeps increasing, in the country. That has been a big problem for Nigerians in so many years. What do you think is the way out? How do we solve the problem of unemployment?
Yeah, thank you very much. Solution to the problem of employment in the country, number one, is to increase the productive capacity of the country. It's as simple as that. Increase the productive capacity of the country, and this goes around what we've been talking about in terms of electricity. Let there be electricity. We've been saying this. If there is energy, you too will agree with me. The whole lot of things that can be achieved, it will run across. You will see the kind of change we are going to have. Like I said, increase the productive capacity of the economy. That's the number one thing. Security situation in the country, improving on it. If this is improved, definitely investors will want to come in. Yes, we're having investors.